For today's tabletop testing, we're going to be looking at Blissey EX with Munkidori. The new Blissey EX is a very tanky stage 1 Pokemon. Its ability allows us to move a basic energy from one of our Pokemon to another, which is going to really help out with the Sharon's Care combination that we have in the deck for tanking plays, but also enables Munkidori to be a fantastic bench-sitting Pokemon for us, helping improve our damage output with Blissey, or allows us to throw damage counters onto some low hit point bench Pokemon to take additional prizes throughout the game. One of the other main strengths of Blissey EX is the return attack draws until we have 6 cards in our hand, meaning that we don't really require much of a full-back draw engine. We can just go for a heavy Pokegear build here with a handful of supporter cards. Arven's a big part of the archetype, with Turbo Energize being a fantastic tool in the list as our early game acceleration option, knowing that when we evolve into Blissey EX, we can happily switch these energies around our board to construct that turn 2 return. In this early deck list, I did put for Crushing Hammer in the list. It's a versatile disruptive card that you can consider and fire off throughout the game, but now that I've had a chance to play with the Blissey Munkidori deck a little bit more, I do have some other considerations at the end of the video, so stick around to see what I would do with these 4 spaces. And it's going to be coming up against a Miraidon EX variant. This is the exact 60 that we saw at the Champions League. Obviously, winning such a large-scale tournament means it has some good pedigree behind it, so it felt like a perfect starting point for a simple, aggressive archetype. That being said, the list is not necessarily perfect, so there are also going to be some other considerations for this deck towards the end of the video. For now, though, let's get into the games. If you're looking for PTCG live codes, make sure you check out the Potown store. You can get a 5% discount on your orders using that code OmniPoke. So we have myself on the left playing the Blissey deck, and Jack is going to be on the right playing Miraidon. I attach to the bench Chansey and just pass things over. This is really dangerous actually, because Jack has the opportunity possibly to take out all of my energy in play. If he's able to get that really aggressive attack off with the likes of Iron Bundle or with that Prime Catcher in the opening stages, he could just wipe my field of energy and he'll know that there'll be no response coming in after the fact. So just any pressure here, an early attack from Jack would be absolutely monstrous. He's had a pretty good start. He's been able to tandem unit out a couple lightning chaps, goes for Raichu V as well as Iron Hands EX, and also uses Nestball for Greninja and can begin to draw cards here. Then is going to fire off, so it looks like debating Generator versus Nestball. I think just wanted to see the outcome of the Generator before acting on this Nestball. With one hit, he is going to find Squawkabilly next from the Nestball. Possibly if he'd found like 2 lightning, for example, from this hand, he may have gone for a different Pokemon. And then we're just going to see the research. No commitment of energy attachment, possibly a little bit risky, but again, wanting to see what's on the other side of this hand. And he knows that he can go 6 deeper with Squawkabilly after this as well. I see Town Store, I see Switch Cart. Is there Prime Catcher in the hand as well? A few options for sure. The Town Store can get Forest Seal Stone, so that could guarantee a really strong turn here. Possibly just foresting for Generator after the Squawkabilly could be an option. Yeah, there is the A-Spec. Prime Catcher brings up my only Pokemon with energy, which is a huge risk. He's then going to throw away Town Store now that he's got usage out of it. And then he's going to Squawk. Still no turn attachments. Not much help from the Squawkabilly. He's actually also got into like a 1 retreat Pokemon, which might be a little bit awkward for him, because now even foresting for Generator isn't huge tempo. So instead it's just going to be a 20 damage prod with Squawk. It's a big let-off for me, actually, especially because Squawkabilly only has 160 hit points. So that's pretty huge. I'm going to fire off a Crushing Hammer, one of the only defenses I have to a big Raichu early game here. I can at least get my attachment in. Oh, possibly I'm debating where this energy goes. Oh, I can weave in a Munkidori, perhaps. That might be why. Yep, we're going to go Hero's Cape, Nestball for Munkidori. So I can heal all the way up to effectively 400, which is a lot to deal with. Obviously, I have Happy Switch from this Blissey. So yeah, we can get the turn attachment on Munkidori. I can then throw that over to Raichu. In the process, healing myself. I'm going to fail a Pokegear, because it looks like I'm trying to draw into other cards here from my return. But we can immediately take a 2-prize knockout, which is great for us. Jack has 3 energy in play. It's a huge commitment to get a Raichu KO here. It's a lot of your energy going down. But it is in his range, possibly, especially with his V-Star power still to be used. It would wipe all of my energy off the board as well, but of course it would do the same for him, so... Ooh, there's a double hit on Generator, that's pretty juicy. maybe Jack's eyeing up Iron Hands on a lower hit point Pokemon. Just give me an Arven, though. Picking up another Generator and a Bravery Charm. There's Generator number 2. Oh, wow. Lots of lightning coming out. Let's see where Jack wants to attach these. Likely one on hands. Oh, it's all going on to right. Okay, so it's big Raichu time. Right. Jack's just hoping that the tempo that he sort of takes away from this Blissey, he guarantees like a free turn, right? Because I just have to take a turn off. But yeah, he's just going to take out the 400 hit point Blissey for a big 2 prize code. He's down a lot of lightning in the process, though. As he does eventually take his prizes. I'm just going to Arven. I'm going to grab Ultra Ball and TM Turbo Energize. And then we're going to grab a Blissey. By the looks of things, that's probably the best thing I can use to Energize, because obviously it's got more hit points in the active. Yep, it's going to be Dark Attach into Turbo Energize to the active. The Arson does get me another Munkidori into play. And then we're just going to Energize to each Munkidori. Let's have a look now to see what resources he has remaining. He has squawked and researched a number of lightning away, in addition to a huge discard there. So I don't actually know how many he has remaining. It's a big commitment for maximum tempo, but I don't know if he... Yeah, he literally just doesn't have enough lightning in the deck remaining after making that play. So we learned pretty quickly that that's not necessarily the way to beat Blissey. Even though it's tempting to take that big knockout, I think the fact that I put damage on the Raichu with Munkidori made Jack worried that he wouldn't get maximum value out of it ever if he didn't use it immediately. But I think possibly a wiser strategy would be at least keeping a couple energy around for like hands to maybe finish off the Blissey later. But of course there's the worry that Munkidori can heal off a lot of the damage he puts in, so... one of those things that hopefully in this next game Jack can have a different strat against the Blissey. And let's see how it goes. He's going to start the game here. And once again has Miraidon to tandem unit some Pokemon out. I definitely think this matchup, Miraidon wants to be the player going second, so he can pressurize and deny me from a Turbo Energize, but he's going to start things off with a Generator straight away. Does whiff, but I know he has Lightning in hand at least, so... He's going to switch cart into Raikou and get a quick draw in, and then attach his Lightning. Oh, his hand was just a ton of Lightning. As he passes over to me, I pick up an Iono. I'm pretty certain I'm looking for Arven here, though, because I want to get Turbo Energize. So this isn't the ideal situation. I do have double Turbo in hand. And the debate is, where do I swing this energy? There's also the debate that Jack has used a switch cart. And obviously I had list knowledge, because it was the list that just got first. So if I swing energy active, I can actually protect my energy, because Jack's options are... If I boss trap the hands, yeah, this is what I'm saying. With switch cart played, if I boss trap hands and Jack goes for prime, obviously he's only taking out a normal Bliss. So that's what we're going to go for. We're just going to try and make the panic play. We've whiffed the Arven and just hope for the best here that this Iron Hands can't move. Jack having to research away a bunch of basic lightning here. And obviously he has a way to get out of the active with prime, but I somehow get a free turn out of it, by the looks of things. Jack is just ending his turn on tandem unit, as I have already started my turn, artisaning out a Munkidori. Can swing another double turbo on, just with the guaranteed attachments. Then we're going to get the Iono 2-6. We find another Chansey. We are able to evolve into Blissey, which is nice. We immediately find the Hero's Cape, so that is a big bliss. And we're just going to swing for 140 here. Let's see what Jack's drawn into from the research. I'm not seeing much. I see more basic lightnings all over the shop. He does have the vacuum at least. It's going to be a quick Artisan from him. Oh no, it's going to be a Miraidon. I think he Artisan to check and then decided to tandem unit. Either way. Yeah, I think he's just holding on to a ton of basic energy. This is rough. Oh, he's debating a boss here. It's going to boss into Chansey. Attaches to hands. Yeah, this is just a really poor start for him. He's going to change up his choice and go to Raichu instead here. Honestly, it was that... You can see why Jack went for the switch card turn 1, because his hand was so full of basic energy, he just wanted more Raikou draw. But it gave me that window. I suppose he's also been super unlucky from his research as well after the fact, but... We're going to Arven for the switch. We're then just going to find another Bliss. And giving me all this time is pretty dangerous, actually. Because now I have just that one banked energy, so Jack's like aggressive KO strat that he tried last game isn't even as good anymore. I can draw up to 6, take the first 2 prizes. And it's just really tough from this stage. Jack's going to go into Raichu. Looks like he took that rescue board, which is frustrating because he wanted to get the Raikou draw, obviously. He will end up retreating the Raichu and draw 1 from Raikou, though. Picks up Nest Ball, that gets Greninja possibly to draw some cards. At least. Oh, there's Bundle that he's thinking about as well. Cashing in on Raikou, perhaps. Ooh, it's going to go Tatsugiri, okay. Possibly prized Greninja. He can now Artisan out the bundle for free. Will he look to take a cheap prize with Raikou here, or just punch for the maximum damage? He's just going to go for the punch by the looks of things. The Lightning Rondo goes back over to me. We have Crushing Hammer. Just kind of weaving those in as we go. We can swing an energy onto Munkidori, so I can be healing 60 this turn. And I can be threatening damage onto this Raikou. I'm obviously only hitting 140 here, but I can move 6 off onto the Raikou to push that into KO range. And in doing so, I'm taking 2 energy off the board, making the Raichu less effective. Jack changed the dice because the Zapdos obviously dealt an extra 10 last turn with the Rondo. Looks like I'm Arvening just for fodder here, so I can sort of recycle my hand, if anything. With return here. Did get Crushing Hammer heads as well. I'm going to vacuum away Rescue Board. Again, just lowering that hand size, going up 2 more prizes. Jack has been able to pick up the Forest Seal Stone, though, and can forest into Research. It's one of those situations where there's going to be no problem getting rid of this Blissey, especially with this vacuum that he's been holding on to for a while. But what really happens after this point is the concern. It's like Jack's whiffing on stuff as well by the reaction. He can hit for 130 with the Raichu and at least deal with the first Bliss. I'm going to double Happy Switch over. I'm going to Poker Gear. Pick up that cheeky Arven. Fail Nest. And then just going to play Arven to Vessel again. We're just doing the classic thin of the hand as much as possible, so return gets more value here. I'm just going to return for 180. And based on Jack's board, it's looking pretty hard for him to deal with this Blissey. Feels like his slow start was just way too much here. The matchup's not actually that bad for Miraidon, but it's just been a strange couple games here. Possibly lack of experience in the matchup in game 1, and then game 2, just unfortunate. Looks like he can pick up Prime Catcher with Arven here. Maybe try and trap Chansey. Something along those lines if he needs to buy time. He's going to go into Tatsugiri, yeah, whilst trapping Chansey here. He's going to attract a customer, he's going to pick up an Arven. He's going to swing energy onto Raichu and just passes. But I can Ultra Ball, and that means I have 3 Blissey EXs, so I can do the happy switches and bring the Raichu back up to take 2 more prizes. So, kind of a surprising outcome there. The matchup is a little bit harder for Bliss, but it's just the way things went down. Right, let's get into some other options. Looking at some other options for the archetype then, I do think the new Chansey coming out is probably actually the better one. I know there's the high roll options, which is pretty tempting from the 151 Chansey, but that lucky attachment is a massive fallback option to have in the deck list if you have whiffed your Turbo Energize. So giving yourself that little bit of protection, specifically against aggressive archetypes, is going to be pretty important. We then have a couple other tool options. Obviously the Hero's Cape is a high priority Lost Vacuum target, which is showing up in a number of archetypes, so having a secondary defensive tool in Rigid Band could be pretty reasonable. Just as a one-off, you could possibly even lead out the game with Rigid Band, almost bait the opponent to use that vacuum in the opening stages, so then you can weave in the Hero's Cape a little bit more freely in the mid to late game. Then there's the A-Spec debate of the Hero's Cape, which is just guaranteed hit points, versus Survival Cast, which is better against like one-hit KO archetypes, like Raging Bolt, Ogerpon, and possibly Chien-Pao, but of course the Survival Cast can be popped by a number of cards, seeing as though it only activates if you have full hit points. So things like Gardevoir having Munkidori in their own deck list, Frostlash showing up in the Greninja list, and even things like Radiant Alakazam showing up in some archetypes, I do think Survival Cast is currently the weaker choice. We can also try and diversify our item pool. Overall, I've not been that impressed by Crushing Hammer. I would, however, immediately put an Enhanced Hammer in the deck list for a guaranteed removal against the Lugia matchup, which is one of your trickier ones. Possibly even 2 copies of E-Hammer is going to be important for the matchup. Palpad can be a decent option if you want to have some reload of your supporters. We're currently playing a fairly low Boss's Orders count, so that would make sense. And even though Blissey is a fantastic draw engine, because it's in the form of an attack, you are still sometimes vulnerable to hand disruption in the late game, so even having a 1-1 line of Bibarel could be pretty handy. Alternatively, just the utility of Trekking Shoes can be useful. It's a good card to see in the opening stages where we are quite vulnerable and want to get multiple basics established and not whiff our Arven combo. So in some regards, it's similar to that high counter Poker Gear where it's helping us get the most optimal early game turns, but equally as you get to the late game stages, even if you're getting hit to low hand sizes, having some shoes in here for extra dig towards some key pieces could be a really big help. And as for Miraidon, only a handful of cards that I've really been considering. Because we play Tatsugiri, it feels like a no-brainer to have some amount of Iono in the deck list. Giving yourself a bit of defense seems like a reasonable choice. And we have seen hand disruptors work in the past with Miraidon. Super Rod can really bail us out if we have awkward Squawkabilly or Professor's Research discards, most notably some of our one-offs like Raichu V, which is a crucial card in the list, whilst at the same time being a really good card to see in the mid-game to improve our odds with late-game generators. And then to diversify our Miraidon search targets, Morpeko could be a 1-prize option that has that snack search, possibly improving our odds with Electric Generator throughout the game, and just generally throwing away cards that aren't that handy, whilst also offering a 1-energy attacking option. If we don't really have the explosive turn that we're looking for, we can at the very least throw a 1-prizer in the mix and most likely get some more energy into play. And we also have the Disruptive Iron Thorns EX option, which we shouldn't sleep on either. This ability can be a huge pain for Charizard, which has typically been one of Miraidon's harder matchups. It can also make life more difficult for Chien-Pao in a racing situation, and it's got that nice 4 retreat cost, so it still has that heavy baton utility. I'd mostly consider Iron Thorns if I expected a lot of Charizard still in the format, so it's definitely a tech card to keep in mind. Hope you enjoyed today's battle video. Let me know your thoughts on both archetypes down below, and I'll see you tomorrow in another video. Cheers.